Good morning, children. Last two classes we discussed about male reproductive system and female reproductive system, and you all know the maturity age of male and female. Who can tell me the maturity age or average maturity age of male? Yes, 11 to 13. And what about female? 10 to 12. And do you think at this particular age, the male or female, will they be capable enough to have a sexual relationship, or will they be capable enough to give birth to a baby? Do you think so? No. You ask the term says no, puberty is the age by which the sex organ starts to mature. That doesn't mean that the organ means attain complete maturity. So it is in controversy at what age the individual is maturity should be completed. But the government, they have decided a particular age. For marriage, for boys or for male, it is 21, and for female, it is 18. So it is believed that at that particular age, they are capable of having a relationship, or they are capable of giving birth to a young one. But you know that when we observe around us, we know that so many girls, especially from some remote areas or remote villages or some part of our country, they are forced to get married at an early age. Definitely it can affect their physical as well as mental condition, or mental health will be affected if they get married at the youngest age. Some are getting married at either 15, 16, 17, etc. And the case of, some are indulging in sexual relationship with the opposite sex, also 13, 14, 15, 16 years. This all can cause serious or severe health issues in the case of individual involved in it. So there should be a particular age limit is there for doing all these things. And otherwise we can say that, other than that, we could say that if they have relationship with others illegally, that's illegal relationship. If you have a relation before the age of 18 in the case of female and 21 in the case of male, that is illegal. It is not legally approved. In such situations, you know why it is not legally approved? Because if it happens, it affects the physical as well as mental condition or mental health of that individual. So it is legally it is banned. If it happens, you know what will happen? It can lead to different types of sexually transmitted diseases. It can lead to different types of sexually transmitted diseases. Sexually transmitted diseases. You know what is meant by the sexually transmitted diseases, or otherwise we can call it as what? STDs. STDs. Can you tell me what is the sexually transmitted diseases? Yes, diseases that are transmitted to sexual contact. During this sexual contact, the fluid connection will be there in between the male or the female and the female. Then what happens, chances are there for spreading of this type of diseases. So the diseases that can be spread through sexual contact are known as sexually transmitted diseases. So one more question you can expect. Okay, so different examples are there, and it can be caused by bacteria, and it can be caused by virus, protozoa, etc. Now we can discuss about main two bacterial diseases and main two viral diseases. Bacterial diseases, first one, it is the gonorrhea. Gonorrhea. Second one, it is the syphilis. And the virus, as we all know, AIDS. Another one, it is the wart. These are the main 4 examples of sexually transmitted diseases, and these questions can be frequently asked for the exam. These questions are asked frequently. For all examination, you can expect this. What is meant by sexually transmitted disease, and name 2 bacterial disease and name 2 viral diseases. So these bacterial diseases, they are the gonorrhea and the syphilis. This gonorrhea actually, it is, as you know, it is a bacterial infected disease, and it affects usually it affects the sex organs of the male and the female, and the individual, those who are having this disease, they feel burning sensation while passing the urine. While passing the urine, they feel what burning sensation. So it is too pathetic. If it situation become worse, it will be too pathetic, and sometimes it may result in the death of the individual. That is symptom of gonorrhea. Clear? Burning sensation while passing the urine. And in the case of syphilis, it is the sores or ulcers can develop in the sex organs. In the case of male, it can be seen on the penis. In the case of female, it can be seen in the vaginal area. Sores means what? Many of us are having that, mouth ulcers. White patches are seen inside the mouth. That is the answer, ulcers. White patches can be seen after applying the medicine. Of course, definitely it will go. Such type of ulcers can be seen on the reproductive structures. That's the penis and the vagina. And what will happen? The situation become worse and worse, and ultimately, it affects that. This bacteria can affect the brain as nerves, etc., etc. Then ultimate death is the result. Syphilis. And what happens if ulcers are there? If any mouth ulcers are there, we can easily feel when we eat the food, when we drink water and all, we feel that extreme pain, isn't it? Same pain can be felt when these ulcers are seen on the reproductive structures. Clear? So they cannot pass urine properly, and whole area will be affected if that person got infected with syphilis. So these are the main two examples of bacterial infected disease. Clear? And this can be spread through sexual contact. Next two are the viral diseases. First one is the AIDS. Another important question. AIDS, it is caused due to the HIV. Can you tell me the full form of AIDS? Acquired. It can be asked for the examination. Acquired immuno. Please note down if you want. Deficiency syndrome. Acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, and it is caused by which virus? Human immunodeficiency virus. This virus is responsible for the disease AIDS, human immunodeficiency virus, and as the full form indicates, it affects the immune mechanism of that particular person. What is immune mechanism? Yes, the ability of our body to attack the disease-causing organism. If this virus enters the body of an organism, of an individual, it affects the immune system. And one more thing about this HIV virus is that if it enters the body, immediately no symptoms can be seen. It takes time. It depends upon the body condition of the individual. The symptoms can be shown 2 to 3 or 5 years. Meanwhile, this person, if he or she is having contact with other person, definitely she can donate to others. And when the person comes to know that he or she is having this disease, it cannot be cured completely. It can be under control. Gradually what will happen? This virus attacks all the body parts gradually. So it is a very severe disease, AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. And it can be spread through four means are there. First one, as we all know, through sexual contact. Second one, from mother to the baby. If the lady is pregnant, if she is having this problem, it can be passed to the child. We know that no child is sharing the same food through the blood from the mother. So, and by feeding the baby, definitely it can get. By using the same needles for injection. Same needle. Injections and all. If nowadays we are using the disposable syringes, in other situation if we are using the same syringe for different people, especially those who are using the drugs and all, a situation, they gather in groups and they may use the same syringe for injecting the drugs into their body. So in such conditions also it can be spread. Another thing is about the blood transfusion. If a person if a healthy person receives the blood from the sick person, HIV infected person, in this manner also the disease can be passed from one individual to another through blood transfusion, mother to the baby, then through sexual contact from using the same injection. So it can be asked sometimes for different ways by which the HIV or AIDS can spread from one person to another. And another pathetic situation about this disease is that nowadays we know this coronavirus. If anybody is affected with coronavirus, that person will be isolated from the whole group. No people like to go near that person. Similarly, in the case of AIDS also the same thing will happen. In the case of person who is having this problem, it can affect, no one will be allowed to go near that person, and you know that that family also will be isolated from the whole group if that person is having this HIV or acquired immunodeficiency syndrome that person is having. So it is a matter of morality. You know what is morality? The values that we all are having. And if a person is having this disease, definitely others may think that that person is having the illegal relationship or immoral relationship with others. That is another way that person will be treated if he or she is having that AIDS. Clear? So it is a matter, even though no other different ways are there for spreading it, but still no people believe that it is quite related to what? Immoral life. Person is not having a healthy sexual relationship, or if he or she is having multiple relationship, and the people believe that no, in such conditions people are getting it. So that's another pathetic situation about this HIV or the AIDS. And another thing is about the wart. You know, all are having wart on our body. You know, many of us are having it. Small outgrowth. Small, you know that from the body. You know, small fleshy outgrowth are there. Small fleshy outgrowth are there. This is the wart. As a painless also, we don't feel pain. Normal on sometimes some people are having them on their face, on the body, hand, etc. And many of us are having it. That's a normal wart. If this wart appears in the reproductive structures, that can be called as what? Sexually transmitted wart. Normal wart can be seen throughout the body. Many of the people are having it. That is not related to the sexual contact. If it appears on the reproductive structures like the penis, vagina and all, then we can call it as what? It is the sexually transmitted wart. So these are the examples of sexually transmitted diseases. The bacterial, gonorrhea and the syphilis, and the viral diseases, they are the AIDS and the HIV. And AIDS caused by HIV. Another one, it is the warts. And you know that if a person is not having this moral relationship or healthy sexual relationship, he or she may have the chance of getting these sexually transmitted diseases. But still we know that people, even though they all know about all these things, but still people are indulging in such activities. You know, premarital relationships are there. You know what is premarital? Before marriage, sexual relationships are there. And after marriage also, multiple relationships are there, keeping the sexual contact not only with the partner, with others also. Nowadays, this is quite common in our society. In such conditions, awareness programs are given, but still no people, they are least bothered about it. Once they happen to get this only, they may understand it. It's a matter of morality or values also. Having a single partner, it's a matter of the value. But still, no, people are indulging in different types of relationship. In such conditions, no, they are advised to use what? Condoms. These condoms, they are worn on the penis. It's a covering that can be worn on the penis that can prevent them from getting the sexually transmitted disease. This is the only method for preventing sexually contacted or sexually transmitted disease. Wearing in this condom, it's a rubber structure. It can be worn over the penis. You have seen the structure of the penis, and over the penis, it can prevent the fluid contact. Even though the penis, it releases the semen, it doesn't consist of semen consists of sperm, but it will not enter into the body of the female. That will be blocked. If that fluid contact takes place only, the disease can spread from one individual to another. And if this doesn't happen, definitely the people will be saved or protected from what? Sexually transmitted diseases. Now we can move on to the other section. We know that in some conditions, some people, they are not ready to have children. Even after marriage also, they don't like to have children. That is one condition. Sometimes, if they have one child, they like to have gap between the two children. Another thing. And some situations, if their female body is unhealthy, or she or she cannot afford carry a baby now, that time also they like to have baby. They don't like to have baby. So in such conditions, they can opt for what? Contraceptive methods. They can opt for contraceptive methods. Contraceptive methods are methods adopted to avoid the pregnancy. One more question. Contraceptive methods are methods that are adopted to avoid the pregnancy. After becoming pregnant nowadays, abortion is also there. That is killing the baby. That is abortion. Killing it, definitely we could say that is killing the baby. It is the abortion. In some illegal relationship, if the girl gets pregnant, definitely he or that they need to opt for what? Abortion. This is actually killing it. But to avoid such situation, they can use contraceptive methods to avoid the pregnancy. And there are mainly 3 methods are there. First one, it is the mechanical barrier method. Very, very important question for the examination. Mechanical barrier method. Chemical method. Surgical method. And another one we can see use of IUCD. So these are the different methods adopted to avoid the pregnancy. First one, it is the mechanical barrier method. Mechanical, as the term indicates, mechanical barrier, things like the condoms are used, use of the condoms. As you all know, it is used to wear on the vaginal cap. These two are the physical or mechanical barrier method used to avoid the pregnancy. Physical method or the mechanical barrier method to avoid the pregnancy. They are the condoms as well as the vaginal cap. This can prevent the sexual contact. This can prevent the entry of the fluid or the semen into the body of the female. If your condoms are worn on the penis, definitely after the sexual contact also, this will be released only into that rubber. It cannot be released into the body of the female. In vaginal cap also, it is kept in the vaginal area. Same manner happen, even though it is released also, it will not enter the body of the female. Such methods are known as mechanical barrier method, or otherwise we can say physical methods. Clear? Very, very important question for the examination. Next one, it is the chemical method. It is the use of the pills. It is the use of the pills. Oral pills are there for consuming, and it can changes the chemical balance of the body. That's a hormonal balance. It can affect the hormonal balance of the female, and it can prevent releasing of the egg. It can prevent the releasing of the mature egg. So even though the sperms reaches there, it cannot find the egg to mature. That is the use of chemical method. That is the consumption of the pills, taking in of the pills that can completely changes the hormonal mechanism of the body. And it can stop releasing what? Stop releasing the egg or the ovum. Then if the sperm enters also, it will not get chance to meet with the egg. So that is about the chemical method. And nowadays vaginal pills are also there. That tablet can be kept in the vagina, and when the sperm enters, when the semen enters, the sperms will be killed by that chemical. 2 methods are there, oral pills as well as vaginal pills. Oral pills are taken orally in the form of tablets. It completely changes the hormonal mechanism of the body. Vaginal pills are there, they are kept in the vaginal area, and when the sperm enters, the sperms will be killed by it. So these two come under chemical method, and definitely you should understand that this chemical method, if you are using it for a long time, definitely it can completely affect the health of the female. Hormonal system completely changes. So gradually, definitely what will happen? That female's fertile ability will be lost, or fertility will be lost if she consumes this tablet for a long time. That's it. So that is a negative about the chemical method. Then surgical method, that 2 types are there. Vasectomy. Second one is the tubectomy. This surgical method is the permanent method. It's a permanent method, and they are the temporary method. But the surgical method, it is a permanent method, and in 2 ways we can do that. First one is the vasectomy. Second one is the tubectomy. Then who can tell what is meant by vasectomy? In which structure we can see the vas difference? Is it in female structure or the male structure? Yes, it is in the male structure. We can cut the vas difference. We can cut the vas difference and tie it afterwards. That is okay. After cutting, we can tie it. And you know what happens then? The sperms are released. But the sperms will be, the cut end, it will get stopped. And the fluid, of course, what is actually the fluid? It is the secretion from the prostate gland, seminal vesicle and the corpus gland. So through the penis, the fluid goes out. It doesn't affect the male at all, but the semen that comes out or the fluid that comes does not contain the sperms, because the testis is releasing the sperm. It enters the vas deferens and there itself it will be cut, so the connection is lost. The tubular connection, that here that from the testis, the tubes are arising, isn't it? So what happened, the tubes are cut here. So here, of course, the fluid is coming, because here we could see the two glands are there here. So of course this is having the fluid, but it doesn't have that sperms. So definitely it doesn't, it's a permanent method. So that male will lose its fertility. That only happens, nothing will be happen. That person will lose his fertility because the semen or the fluid that comes out of the penis doesn't consist of sperms. That is the case of vasectomy. In the tubectomy, the fallopian tube is seen in, yes, female structure. So similarly, the tubes are cut. Tube is cut, or the fallopian tube is cut and tied it. The tube is cut and tied. So what happened? The egg is released by the ovary, but egg doesn't reach. In the ampulla region, hope you remember, the fertilization takes place. The egg doesn't reach the ampulla region. Before that, that fallopian tube, both sides it will be cut. From both sides, vasectomy also both tubes are there. Similarly, in the case of tubectomy also, from two sides the fallopian tubes are coming, and both sides, just near the ovary, the tubes are cut. Then the egg will not be released into the ampulla region, and if sperms comes and wait there also, they do not get the egg. This is a permanent method. Tubectomy and vasectomy, these two are the permanent methods of contraception. If the couples, if they don't like to have children at all after giving birth to 2 or 3 babies, if they don't like to have children, they can adopt this permanent contraceptive method like the tubectomy and the vasectomy. And still some complications are there in that also. If it is not performed properly in some remote villages in different part of India, sometimes it may be performed in their own houses, not under the supervision of the trained doctors or the nurses. It can cause infection and ultimate death. So if it is not performed properly, it can cause serious health issues. But if it is performed properly, it doesn't affect at all. It doesn't have any adverse effect. So these three are the different methods. Now otherwise, and one more thing we can just, it is IUCD, full form, one more question, intrauterine contraceptive intrauterine contraceptive device. Intrauterine, because a next typical example, it is the copper T. So teeth-shaped structure that is kept inside the uterus. Can you just guess what happened if this thing is, it's made up of plastic, high quality plastic. If this thing is kept inside the uterus, can you guess what will happen? How can this prevent the pregnancy? Just think what will happen. The fertilization takes place, zygote will be formed, zygote will divide numerous times, and embryo is formed. Embryo will reach the uterus. And afterwards, next step is what? Sticking of the embryo into the wall of the uterus. What is it now? Yes, implantation. But when this copper T is kept inside the uterus, this implantation will not take place. Of course, embryo will reach there, but embryo cannot stick to the wall of the uterus. So that doesn't become a baby at all. It should stick into the wall of the uterus, then only embryo can grow. Clear? So that is the use of what IUC, this intrauterine contraceptive device. And if the couples, if they don't want to have children for 3 to 4 years, and they can opt this. This can be kept in the uterus after 3 to 4 years. It can be removed if they like to have children. And that also can cause infection. All these are having its own side effects. If it is kept though, it is made up of this plastic, foreign material of course, it can cause what infection there. So these are the main different methods of contraception. They are the mechanical barrier method, chemical method and the surgical method. Very, very important question. Chemical method. First one, we can just revise this mechanical barrier method. It is the use of the condoms or otherwise we can see vaginal caps are there. These condoms, it doesn't allow the sperms to release into the female body, and the vaginal caps are there. If it is kept there, no, definitely no, the sperms will not enter with the body of the female. Next is the chemical method, consumption of the pills or the tablet. Oral pills are there. It changes the hormonal mechanism of the body of the female, and it can prevent what maturation of the egg or release of the mature egg. Otherwise, we can see vaginal pills are there. If such tablets are kept in the vaginal area, when the sperm enters also, the sperms will be killed. Next one, it is the surgical method. Surgical method, two types are there, vasectomy and the tubectomy. And this is the permanent method. This question can be asked for the examination. Among all these contraceptive methods, which one is the permanent method? Then what will you answer for that question? Yes, it is the surgical method, the tubectomy or the vasectomy. Tubectomy, cutting the fallopian tube. So what happens? Yeah, the egg will not get chance to fertilize with the sperm. And what about vasectomy? The vas difference is cut and the sperm will not go out through the penis. So these are the permanent method. And one more question I should ask you. Among all these methods, which can prevent protection from sexually transmitted disease? Among these different methods, some examples also you have seen, and from this, which type of method can give the individuals protection from sexually transmitted diseases? Yes, that question can also be asked. It's the condoms. Condoms only can provide security or safety against the sexually transmitted diseases because it stops the fluid contact between the partners. It can stop the fluid contact. So next we can move on to the, I already mentioned about abortion. That when the female conceives or she gets pregnant, if they don't want the child, nowadays it is quite common, they can opt for abortion. But this abortion it is not legally accepted under certain circumstances only. If the child is having any serious or severe health issues, that time no doctors can suggest for abortion. Otherwise, no, if the baby is healthy, no, it is not suggested to have abortion because it affects the health condition of the mother or the lady who is having the child. Definitely, no, if the abortion, it can also may result in infertility. Once this abortion is done, definitely sometimes, no, it can affect the fertility or fertile capacity of the female. So, it is better to adopt contraceptive methods rather than opt for abortion. Another thing is about that, nowadays when we go to any scanning centers, I don't know whether you have seen or not, it is written there not prenatal sex determination is a punishable offense. Wherever we are going, wherever scan centers you are going, you can see it is strictly written there, prenatal sex determination. What is prenatal? Before birth babies, fetus sex determination. Well, that is punishable because why? In some parts of India, the couples, they don't like to have girl child. If they come to know the child is a girl, definitely no, they will opt for abortion. That is female feticide. That is quite common, female feticide. What is female feticide? It is killing of the female child. That is known as what? Female feticide. And if they come to know it is a girl child, they don't like to have girl child. Not in all part of the country. In some areas, no, they don't like to have girl child. And so they like to kill it. Even after the birth also, some may kill the child. By using different methods, it can, it is quite common. So just to avoid that only, legally it is prevented to inform the parents the child is belong to which sex. Another thing is that if the female feticide continues, the male-female sex ratio will be affected. Male-female sex ratio will be affected. there should be a ratio between the male and the female. The female children are killed continuously, definitely. It can affect the ratio of the male and the female. Clear? So to avoid that, the government has put forward this law, that is prenatal sex determination is a punishable offence. The couples, they are not have the right to ask the hospital authorities to know which sex is, that is a male or a female. And if they say also, it is a punishable offence. If you ask also, it is a punishable offence. This is just to avoid this female feticide. Clear? And if any problem is there, definitely, if the child is having any serious health issues, if the child, if he or she after birth also, if he or she will be affected continuously, then the doctors can opt for what? Abortion. Otherwise, no, it's also not, but it is also a punishable offence. Okay, and now other thing, we know that the reproduction, in the beginning, what's the significance of reproduction? We discussed that it is for increasing the population. Am I right? Yes. The population is decided by what? Death, birth, rate of birth, and rate of birth to rate of death. Rate of birth and rate of death determines what? The population rate. The rate of birth is increased, definitely population will increase. If rate of death is increased, population will be reduced. These both should go in an somewhat equal manner, that the population can be maintained. Nowadays, we know that we are facing population explosion. You know what is population explosion? A sudden increase in the population. We know our country stands second in the population rate, right? Yes. So that it can affect, the whole well-being of the people, especially the poor people, if they are having more children, that can affect the health condition of the children, because they cannot provide all the facilities to them. And if the number increases, the rich, as we all know, rich become richer and richer, and poor becomes poorer and poorer. So if the number of children increases, they cannot provide all the necessary facilities to the children. So likewise, so in this angle, we could say that the population should be controlled. It's also for the well-being of the nation also. The population increases, definitely the financial condition of the government also will be affected, because they need to provide all the necessities to this growing population, and so in different manners it will be affected. So the rate of birth and rate of death should be in an equal level, then only the population can be maintained. So with this, we come to the end of this lesson. As I used to say every time, copy the question answers, and in this lesson you are supposed to study different diagrams. First one, the structure of the flower, double fertilization, structure showing double fertilization, male reproductive structure, female reproductive structure, and the first, the amoeba, the structure of the amoeba, reproduction in amoeba, you should learn to draw, then budding, simplest diagrams. So this is an assignment for you. You should draw the diagram of these four. First one, structure of the flower, double fertilization in flower, male reproductive structure, and female reproductive structure. And the last date for submission, it will be informed later. So don't waste time. Start drawing it in assignment sheet. Separate assignment sheet you are supposed to draw. All these four, not in single sheet. Different structures, different papers, you are supposed to draw the diagrams, take the photo and send to my personal WhatsApp number. Clear? Not in the group. You are supposed to send to my personal WhatsApp number. Last date will be informed later. So until we meet in the next class, my dear children, stay safe at home. Bye. See you in the next class.